care of your things, watch you sleep.
Wow, you have a lot of energy. Maybe you could just stay in one place?
Welcome back to The Breakroom. I'm Erik Voss, and Pixar's Inside Out 2 is one of my most highly anticipated films of the year. A film near and dear to my heart, as a film that my wife Kelly has worked on for the past 3 years. I recently had a chance to visit Pixar's campus in Emeryville, California for a sneak peek at the film and an exclusive tour through the various production departments. And I had a goal on this journey to try to avenge the fallen from the first Inside Out in 2015, to resurrect Bing Bong from the depths of Riley's blacked out memories. Join me on my quest to save Bing Bong. I am in for a treat today because I'm going to have a chance to sit down with the director, Kelsey Mann, and the producer, Mark, and I have a lot of questions for them. I can't wait to do it. Let's take a look. My first stop was to scout Pixar's virtual camera set. I met DP camera Adam Habib and layout leads Ryan Hewitt and Sunguk Chun as they demonstrated how the digital camera usage in Pixar's films actually parallels that of a live action setup. I had no idea Pixar did this. And I kid you not, they clear a space in their studio and they set these markers around the space with these motion caption cameras above to just kind of map out a digital camera so that what you would see on the tablet screen matches the HQ set within Riley's mind. And you can kind of walk around it. And doing it this way allows you to just kind of explore in real time the space that all the emotions occupy, work in, and live. And you can see their weird little housing unit and the weird little lockers that they keep their stuff in. Yes, that's right. The emotions have stuff. They have possessions. They have ownership. And that's a new thing that this movie establishes. And it started to work my brain gears a bit. But what was really cool about this experience is you get to see part of what makes Pixar films so cinematic is that they take the time to map out these shots the way practical cinematographers do. It's not just beautiful character design, wonderful storytelling. It is a camera that dynamically follows action in a 3D environment that immerses us as viewers. Now, as we were going through this, I was hoping that, you know, like the creepy AR ghost on the camera videos that TikTok's algorithm thinks that I'm obsessed with, maybe because I am, the ghost of Bing Bong might pop up on the screen and then pin me down and then cry his candy tears into my face. No luck, that did not happen. But learning that these emotions had stuff got me thinking that there could be another way Bing Bong could come back. Hold on to that thought. Okay, the next stop was to Pixar's storied animation department, where these artists have decked out their offices into themed experiences. It's like walking through escape room after escape room. But it is Bay Area tradition to have workspaces that you never ever want to leave to make the overpriced childcare that you have to pay worth every penny. So why not choose to work in a tiki bar? These animators showed us a polish review where the group sits in a small screening room to go through a sequence in the secrets vault of Riley's mind, frame by frame, to make sure the animation has perfect scale, anatomic reflex, and timing. In just 10 seconds of this footage are hundreds of tiny decisions. My brain cannot even process how talented these artists are. I mean, as a YouTuber who claims to go frame by frame myself through animated films, I try to sound smart by asking really smart questions about like the differences between slapstick comedy and grounded physical gravity, and I totally did not listen to their answer because I kept kicking myself for not asking them why Bing Bong kicking off from the wagon while it was already airborne gave it enough boost to propel Joy up onto the ledge if he was made mostly of cotton candy. Could the answer to that question be Riley's deep dark secret? Of course not. Riley's deep dark secret is probably the same deep dark secret as Luca's. It is Disney will never let us say because they want Chinese distribution. Okay, next up, I met production designer Jason Deemer and character designer Keiko Moriyama to look at the way Pixar designs its emotions and all of its characters. Specifically, we saw how just colors and shapes was where they started for 2015's Inside Out, a lineup of the 5 core emotions, but then we got to see how they designed the new ones that we meet in Inside Out 2, including anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment. And Jason Deemer pointed out that of all the new emotions, the one envy is the only one who has 4 fingers on each hand instead of 5 because she's envy's having a 5th finger. And I just think little details like that are what make Pixar movies so great. We saw some concept art that included characters that they designed but removed from the final version of the film, which Jason quickly scrolled past, growing rosy pink himself like Embarrassment. But then after lunch, producer Mark Nielsen told in a press conference that the character was Schadenfreude, which I know from Avenue Q is a German term meaning happiness at the misfortune of others. Like, you know, the happiness that Joy secretly felt watching Bing Bong fade like a fart in the wind. And they did this fun little exercise with us where I got to design a character of my own based on the emotion of distraction. And I totally overthought it, and I realized I unconsciously drew myself anytime I walk outside and then look at my phone too much and walk directly into traffic. Okay, next stop, I sat in on one of the departments my wife was a coordinator for, the story team, in what Pixar calls the fishbowl, which is a glassed-in room where the director and the story artist break out the story of the film sequence by sequence sequence. I met story supervisor John Hoffman and story artist Becca McVeigh, and the director of the film, Kelsey Mann, sat in with us, and Becca walked us through a live pitch session of the sequence in which Joy reacts to the puberty alarm on the console going off. And what's really cool about this step of the process is that you can see the humanity that these artists bring into the story. Like the puberty alarm, they wanted it to just be kind of like a quick solitary beep, like a smoke detector battery alarm that's beeping somewhere in your home, and you have to go room by room to find out which one it is, and it's just kind of annoying. The three of these story artists are just so talented and animated themselves. Like the humanity of all of Pixar's characters come from these humans. I walked right by Kelsey, but I was too nervous to introduce myself as Kelly's husband and get in my bing bong question then, which, was a huge mistake, as you will find out later. But one of my favorite stops of the day was in this mock voice recording session with a recording engineer. I got to go into a real ADR booth and voice Joy for a scene. Take a look.
Orange? Who made the console orange?
Do I look orange?
I'll carry your things, watch you sleep.
Wow, you have a lot of energy. Maybe you could just stay in one place?
And for all the times I have critiqued ADR on the new Rockstars channels as shortcuts to edit a scene after the fact, unnatural interference in what scenes are supposed to be, I just have a new appreciation for the process. It's a lot harder and far more creative than I realized. Now, to be clear, this is a mock voice session. You will not hear my voice in the film. Otherwise, you would definitely hear me whispering in the background of every scene, "Bing Bong lives. Where is Bing Bong?" We also stopped by the office of lead editor Marissa Horwitz, who showed us the insanely dense Avid asset timeline for a single sequence, even just from the storyboard reel step, and it made my head spin. Now, during my visit, I got to see the first 35 minutes of the film, and it is hilarious, and it is wonderful, and I can't wait to break down the full movie when it comes out in June. We had a 45-minute press conference with Kelsey and Mark, and I had so many questions I wanted to ask. Like, why do the emotions in other people's heads have other emotions in the driver's seat of the console? Like, is Riley's mother a sadness-oriented person? Is that something that Riley will evolve into? Or is she forever a joy-oriented person? Do emotions ever retire? Like, can you ever get to the point in your life where you no longer need fear or anger? Are emotions universal to every person? Or do some emotions not exist in some people? Because I've definitely met some Mormons who are never angry. Do you consider love to be an emotion? Or is love kind of like a force that exists between or beyond emotions? Is that something we'll explore in Inside Out 3? And since this movie introduces belief systems and sense of self, and those elements I learned had to be removed and then quickly added back in later during production, what challenges did those changes pose to the story structure? All of these valid questions, but I completely froze up during the press conference and I didn't ask anything, maybe knowing that I was one of the lucky visitors who would get 5 minutes of alone time with Kelsey and Mark to ask whatever I wanted. Now, unlike some other press who are in attendance at this event, I don't have a ton of experience doing face-to-face junkets like this. The whole process frightens me. I only started doing them in the past year. I much prefer like a 30-minute remote podcast, a freewheeling Zoom conversation, like my interviews with Amon Villani. But for these quick 5-minute sessions where you're just in this room and there's a bunch of people off camera who are just staring at you, it's tense, and there is a real art to it. Like, you can't waste any time. You have to like try to make your questions short. You have to ask questions that will get very short answers. You want to come in with like 10 questions at least, but then plan to get to 2 or 3, and you have to be strategic about what order you ask them. So I planned out all my world building questions and emotions, and I was like, I'm gonna get such good scoops for new Rockstars. But then the moment I sat down in front of Kelsey and Mark, all I could think of was my wife and a bing bong. All right, my first question is, who's your favorite coordinator on this movie, and why was it Kelly Losick?
Oh, wow. Okay, are you Kelly's husband?
No.
I am Kelly's.
How about
It's
that?
so nice to meet you.
We
man.
love Kelly. We're huge fans of Kelly.
Yeah.
You got it on camera. I had to. And let's pause right here. In this moment, I thought, well, shoot, I already burned a lot of time with small talk, but surely the people running these junkets won't count that to my time, right? Suddenly, I remembered a detail I caught during the screening earlier. In the Emotions weird little housing unit, where they are weirdly now allowed to own stuff in the sequel, on Joy's nightstand was a familiar, trunked face of spun cotton candy with a weird little top hat. Who's the friend who likes to play? His rocket makes you yell, hooray! That's right, it is a Bing Bong plushie doll. Joy remembers Bing Bong by keeping on her nightstand a toy of him. So based on this little Easter egg, my headcanon went to work. What could this mean? So I presented my theory to Kelsey and Mark. I wanted to ask about, okay, so Bing Bong is gone.
Yes.
I understand that.
Not forgotten.
But
Yes.
not forgotten, because I noticed Joy has on her nightstand a little Bing Bong figurine.
Yes.
Right,
And
origami.
Yes.
I assume that's just like the art team putting it in, but is it okay if I look at that as like the things we've lost in our childhood are always rediscoverable from our inner joy? Or am I looking into it
Yes.
too much?
I think that's beautiful.
I think that's
so well
amazing.
put, and I believe that. I think that's right.
I really, I made some decisions early on when I was just me by myself. I'm like, what do I want to do? And I made a list of sequels I loved and sequels I didn't like. And I'm like, why do I like these? And why did these go off the rails a little bit? Why do I not like these? And I made certain choices, like who's the protagonist of this film? Joy was the protagonist of the first film. Sometimes they change it. Sometimes they're like, now it's anger, you know? And I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. I like the sequels that stay true to the original protagonist. So I don't want to switch characters' point of views. That was a decision I made early on. Another thing I did was like, I knew how much people love Bing Bong. And I'm like, I don't like sequels that completely ignore what the other film did. And I'm like, Bing Bong was forgotten. And I think it would cheapen what Pete and you guys did with the original film if I go, just kidding, he's back. That was a powerful moment in the first film. And I think I'll diminish that impact if I go, just kidding, he's around. And so I said, I'm not gonna do that. And I even told Pete, I go, I'm not gonna do that. So out of respect to the storytelling, because I just think characters, once they're gone, they should stay gone.
I think there's something beautiful about that. Just having Joy can cling to him
Yes.
and remember him,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Do we have time for one more? Or are we good? All right, we'll leave it there. But it was so.
Oh,
great
that's the end?
Oh man, that was fast.
That was
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Well, I got in my wife question at the beginning.
Yeah, okay,
Out
well,
of-
that's
out
gonna
of
be worth a
obligation.
lot.
That wasn't that long.
Yeah, I know. Priorities, right? Priorities. Kelsey is so great.
Dude,
So, as you can tell, I blew it. But I got my scoop. I found a way to make Bing Bong live on. And hey, maybe this could be my thing when I do junket interviews. Rather than ask the same old questions, just ask the filmmakers and actors some weird curveball that makes them confirm whatever Mephisto theory I have for their movie. Huge thanks to Disney and to Pixar for letting me visit their campus and get this first look at Inside Out 2. I'm even more excited for the film. Inside Out 2 is coming to theaters on June 14th, 2024. And on that day, you will be able to see new Rockstars' in-depth Easter egg breakdown of this film because there is so much in this movie. Be sure to subscribe to the Breakroom. Comment down below with what you're most looking forward to from Inside Out 2. Follow me at Erik Voss. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.